said, well, Mark, they're flat. I said, if they had sculptural effects, I think they would be more effective as planets. Because Mark already purchased this piece, Ghosts of Gold number 2, which is sculptural, very mixed media. And that's where the project was born. So I came here with the intent to work on this piece and make it three-dimensional, and of course it kept expanding. If I left Mark to his own devices, I would still be working on this thing, because he wanted more of this and more of that. We just kept going, and of course I got into it. I was very excited. He knows a lot about astronomy and a lot about the planets. He was filling me in on all the details that I didn't even understand or know. Like right up here, see that little moon there that's in the ring of Saturn? You can see the little dangly things coming out, and that's actually air vapor or water vapor coming off the bottom of the planet. That still happens today. It's still going on. I didn't know a lot about Jupiter and its moons. There's a lot of moons to Jupiter. I happen to put Callisto up in front because of its beauty. I like the dark with shiny light little sparkles on it. It's absolutely gorgeous. I tried to go back to the photographs that are most naturally colored, so that they actually look like to the visible eye, not necessarily the NASA cool looking flavored colors, but the actual color of what it would be like. So as I grew up as a kid, I would look at Mercury, and the pictures of Mercury were always reddish, orange, and yellow. Like that was my idea of Mercury. But when you actually see the photographs of what they believe it to be, it's not. It's this color. And I tried to replicate that as best as I could. Giant gash in Mars. I don't know if many of you know about that, but there is a huge canyon on Mars. It goes right across Mars, and they're not even sure how that happened, if the planet opened up or if it got hit by something big, another asteroid or something like that. So I did a little artistic, let's just say I enhanced it a bit. I took an artistic liberty on the canyon because I thought it was really neat, and he enjoyed it. Triton is here, one of the moons of Neptune, and Titan is that beautifully colored moon outside the ring of Saturn, and it is, I think Titan is the largest moon. Anybody correct me on that?
I
think you're right.
Sounds good.
But everything is not to size, because if it was, you'd be able to fit all the planets in between the space of Earth and the moon. That's the reality, the scale of what our place looks like. We don't have the type of space to do that here in this room, but Mark came up with the original idea. I resurfaced and sculptured over it, and by the time I got finished with all the asteroids, my arm was hurting quite good. Yes, there is a particular interesting asteroid in the asteroid belt. That one right up there, or the larger one, Cirrus, which they believe is loaded with water. Now, some more contemporary ideas that there's water there. Do we have any questions? 500 LED lights made of paper, epoxy.
Okay. And that's a solar flare up on top of the sun?
Solar flares, yes.
Cool.
We don't really see them from the Earth, but they're there. And I was taking a good look at the photographs of the sun, and not an easy thing to do. Just look at that and go, how do I replicate that in real form without just shining light?
Right.
Or magma, because the sun is moving. It's all kinds of, liquid stuff happening.
Hydrogen and
It's absolutely
solar
stellar.
flares or hydrogen bursts.
Definitely showed us the movement, I think.
That's good.
Beyond it not being scaled to distance, is it scaled versus the size of the planets?
No,
Okay.
not even that. It's a lot off. So in other words, Jupiter is gigantic compared to Earth.
Okay.
Yeah, it would be a very different size. I think it's, Mark might know. What's the size, Mark, what would be the size of the Earth next to Jupiter? If this was really Jupiter, how big would Earth be?
1,000 times.
Wow. So it'd be like a little...
Yeah, it's 1,000 Jupiters. 1,000 suns make, in Jupiter it makes 1,000 suns.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's how the magnitude of it.
What did you make, what are the, things you used to make Jupiter?
It's a good question. So here was the process. Since there was already a concrete round
Ruh-roh.
since there was
Galileo fell.
Galileo. There's a reason why they killed
He
that
took
guy.
the
They
hit.
did, yeah.
That's, Can you see if he gets propped up? I think the leg is not.
Wobbly.
Yeah, the leg needs.
The leg is wild.
The other one,
Like my mind.
Which one? All of them?
that one right there, yeah, needs tightening.
So the process was, since there was already a plaque there in round concrete, I had taken insulation foam board and cut out a replica of that circle, and then I took several layers of that foam board, and then I plastered it over with like plaster Paris or the plaster fabric. Then I epoxied it to the wall. Then I worked over it with sculptural epoxy, and this is particularly Magic Sculpt from Sweden, I think it is.
Sweet.
Yeah, it's the only sculptural epoxy that is fire retardant. They use it in big installations. It's quite expensive. So that's what this is made out of, and then painted over it. Here you can see I had to put some stanchions to pull the moons out away from it. So I epoxied on the surface. I put wire inside there, and then slowly built around it. That was the easy part. The hardest part was probably the ring of Saturn, to make that stand freeform. And if you look closely, I wish like I had a pointer.
Little
Take
laser.
this bottle of water.
The laser.
But if you look closely, right at the anchor of both sides of the ring of Saturn, you will actually see that that's epoxy there. And I painted it faux to make it look like it's part of the stone. So that's epoxy around it. Same thing here, right above Halley's Comet is a hole about this big. You can see it if you look real close. It's no longer a hole, it's just that I faux the stone over it to make it look like there's a stone there when there really wasn't. It was just a big hole because we drilled through the wall.
That's incredible.
So are there battery packs hidden? Or,
They're plugged in on the opposite side of the wall.
They're wired in.
They're wired.
Wow.
Wow.
that's good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go get Jupiter up close. I love you, Jupiter, and that's considered a benevolent planet. And you look at this Jupiter, and it just feels
It's
benevolent.
calming. Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. I agree.
I had fun with that one.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I
I'm,
like
a,
the
I'm a
rings.
Sagittarius, so
The
Jupiter's like,
rings.
oh,
What
Yeah.
did you make the rings out of specifically?
yeah. The ring, like the asteroid belt?
No, the on
Jupiter.
Oh.
The two rings.
the two rings on Jupiter. With,
Oh, this is sculptural epoxy.
okay, it's all the
Yeah.
same.
It's
Okay.
very much like clay. This is sculptural epoxy. This is black sculptural epoxy that's not painted.
Oh.
So I saved myself a ton of time.
Teeny
And it was all by
tiny-
accident too, because the black hulls they had left. I was working with gray, and then they had black left. And I thought, well, I'll try it, and it just I was like,
Yeah, it's
I'm not
awesome.
going to paint that. It already looks like stones or rocks,
Yep.
so I'll leave that.
Yeah, you need a teeny tiny little paintbrush.
Yeah, well, I'll be here till next
Oh,
April,
yeah.
2022, painting each asteroid.
You didn't count how many asteroids there are, did you?
Okay.
No,
A butt ton.
that would have been fun if I did, and then have like a raffle.
Right.
Free print
Yes.
for
How many M&M's in the jar?
Yeah, closest guess to how many asteroids.
Now we know for next time. Next
Yep.
time you make an asteroid belt.
Yeah. When's the asteroid belts coming around?
Such detail for the Earth. Such like snow on mountains and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really enjoy doing that. And, my background is mostly painting. But in the past couple of years, I started making three-dimensional sculpture wall hangings, so to speak. John has seen plenty of those. So I've worked with the epoxy. I like to make it look like things are painted in form. So, in other words, has anybody ever seen What Dreams May Come? The movie with Jim,
movie.
what was it? What was his
Yes.
name? Robin Williams.
Mm-hmm,
Have you ever seen that?
yes.
If you haven't, you should check it out.
Is
What Dreams May Come, and he walks into a painting, and the painting is all, the ground is all paint and it's moving and flowing, and he's walking through this space that is completely painted. Absolutely marvelous job that they did. This is might have been early CGI, because it was
Early.
80s when it came out.
Early, if at all.
But it was gorgeous, and ever since I saw that movie, I thought, I want to make paintings that come at you. And something like this. So this is a commission that somebody asked me to paint, and they're picking it up probably today.
Yeah, it's
The
very
light
nice.
behind
So
you
I
on
like
the
to
wall
work
there.
in the impasto,
The middle one,
what they call it,
Middle?
sculptural effects. This is very
Yeah.
lightly sculpturally
the
effect
bottom,
compared to some of the other things that I'm doing now,
Mm.
which is
the middle one.
the middle one. Oh,
Is that what you want?
Bernadette has.
Look at there, look at
Look
there.
at that.
Tech assist.
The control of the lights. Tech assist. I like that. Okay.
I love
Well,
that.
the
Mine,
painting
right?
that you did of our cat has a lot of texture and
Yes.
to it.
Yeah, you could put that one on the rocker.
What I did, I worked on a portrait of her cat. Right.
I saw that. I didn't know that was for you.
That was for her, yes.
Yeah.
And
It's pretty
that was a
tasty.
piece, another commission piece, very specific, and it was also a symbolic use of materials,
Mm-hmm.
which I enjoy to work in. So I call it a symbolic use of materials, not necessarily mixed media, because the media that I'm placing into it means something. She had broken a vase that was very interesting. She gave me the glass. I put the glass into the painting. There was a cedar shake from the house that they just bought. So there was extra cedar shake. I took the cedar shake and backed it up into the canvas. What other materials in there?
John
T-shirt.
shirts.
There's the T-shirt. Every year I would
Yeah,
go to
but
Lock and
you-
Music
I do.
Festival, and I would go and wear the same T-shirt at nighttime. I don't know why. It was really old. Probably that's why, because camping. But I used a T-shirt in the painting, and it was really fun. And so I started to develop this idea of using people's personal belongings in their artwork. And I think it resonates energetically better for the patron or for the person and for the subject
yeah.
matter than just straight
Like
paint.
cometry.
It is so, when people come over and I show it to them, I tell them about, first of all, the cat. John and I got the cat before we got married. We had her